But that's what he said. I don't understand. That's just how it worked out.
Wow. You're hearing that?
Drew, what's your best carnival memory?
My best carnival memory is performing at a breakfast fete. Sun shining, people whining, water splashing, real energy, boy.
My favorite will always be pan. You see, listening to those sweet melodies in a panorama semis, I have nothing better than that. Nothing.
It's the way we play, it's the vibe we bring. Feel the rhythm flowing, brewing deep within.
For me, it has to be mass. It's crossing the stage.
It's a celebration, life we celebrating. Sunshine in every step, with every sip we take.
Kill, you know I never play mass yet.
What?
I think my best carnival memory is yet to come.
Well, cheers to that.
Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Lavway was and is the gateway to the future.
Repeat after me. I am not afraid when I cross through the temple of this stage.
I am not afraid as I cross through the temple of this stage.
So Lavway aired on Carnival Sunday in 2021. I can't remember the date, but I remember having the little last-minute edits because, of course, the timeline to create this production was almost zero.
See I coming out hot to show people what I got, and they start with critical comment.
Originally, before this was called Lavway, we used to refer to it as the Lost Tribe Show. And ever since Val conceptualized the Lost Tribe's first theme and what we were going to do, he's been speaking about making it into a stage production.
We were in, I think, Tribe's car park at that time, and he started talking about it to me, and I was like, you know, Val, this is like a real amazing idea. It's very unique. It's different to how we normally tell the story of our culture or portray our culture.
What a gift it is to stare into a mirror and see only yourself staring back.
Val came with you know, the parts of the body and kind of asked me to put in the muscles and the tendons and sew it together using poetry to give voice to the spirit of carnival.
She come in like wet season, like a next child.
Lavway is a visceral song and sound. It is a sound of, I don't want to say a song of oppression, but it's a song against oppression. It is a song of development. It is a cry that stands in the face of any adversity, and it is literally at the root of our people.
Making of Lavway, Val, take one.
We're going to call it something else, right?
What's that?
Have we had to find a name for this thing? Not the Making of Lavway.
Well, I had to put something.
Okay. You should put the temporary name.
COVID has presented us with a lot of time. So when we came to talking about what we would do for Carnival 2021 in the absence of a physical carnival, we began to speak about, okay, you know, we have this idea for the Lost Tribe Show.
To be honest, what happened was we had so many ideas and so many meetings from March. When the onset of this whole pandemic came about, March, April, May, June, July, we had dozens and dozens and dozens of ideas. Nobody knew what time or when we would have been able to execute it, but the ideas were there, the planning was there for a couple of things.
I sat with Val and Bridget in a meeting where Val mapped out, okay, these are the 10 things I want to do, this is what the costuming is going to look like. He had it very detailed. He put it up on his board. He had all these sketches, he had notes, you could picture everything.
The original name, if you will, was the Lost Tribe Show, which sounds hilarious now.
Then it turned into getting a call from Danielle, and she says, well, Val wants to make a movie. And I'm like, how we reach movie? How we reach there?
We wanted to have a physical show. And then it turned into something else, and then it turned into a film.
It was really Val's brainchild to bring it to that audience where, you know, the audience can't come to you, so you have to take it to them.
It was a strange time. Picture it, 2020 into 2021, it was 2020 at the time, and the world is going through this thing that has recently been introduced as a pandemic, and the entertainment industry is in shambles, and it is the guavaest of all guava seasons ever. We have no money, nothing is happening, and you are just as confused as your corporate clients, you are just as confused as your masqueraders.
First person we speak to is anybody who have the ability to give us the resources, and by the resources I mean the money, to do a show like this.
It's a major investment. Let's not, let's put it out there. It's a major investment to be part of a production like this. But there are two things that are very important. We have a very good relationship with Tribe. We've had one for many years, and we've always enjoyed that end product.
We eventually spoke to Carib, and I remember having a conversation with Antron saying, well, Antron, we have this drive-through run, we have this movie, but it's going to be more like Broadway, and then we have this other plan. And he said, wait, Broadway? Movie? You're talking my language. Come, let's talk some more.
I remember Antron saying, go back there, where's that one again? And I was like, what do you mean? And I literally went back to 2 slides back. He was like, no, the show thing. And then he said, tell me about it. And at the end of the meeting, like, in the very silent but strong way that Antron is, he literally was like, yeah, I think the one that we're interested in is the show, and develop it. And so Dean looks at me and he's like, do we have it developed? And I was like, yeah, it's in a book at home.
Dean, Val are masters in their art. So meeting with us to show us this idea again, it just gave us that comfort that these guys are not just pitching pie in the sky. They're going to deliver. I
was like, okay, this is not just filming a performance. This is a movie we're making. This is a film that we're going to do. But we're always up to the challenge. It sounded like an exciting thing. And for us who are a bit outside of the industry, sounded very doable.
My name is Ryan Gibbons, and I was the director for Lavway. The person that brought the idea to me was Val, right? We recently completed another project together, and he's like, right, I really enjoyed our time working together on this project, and I have this idea. It's very early stages, and I want you to work on it.
Like, how do you get a team that you speak to them about a major production that really should take an entire year to make, and you speak to them in November and December and be like, yo, let's do this thing in a month, and they say yes to it?
Much of us weren't doing anything, and it was a chance for creatives to express ourselves at that point. And doing a feature film in a month is like a logistical nightmare. Like, why would you?
Everything came to light. All the lights turn on, the car park busy, your phone ringing off the hook, things happening, somebody can't get onto this one, you can't get onto that one. It was that carnival adrenaline that was there every year that was missing for a few weeks that just came back in one.
It gave us just a sense of hope and fun, especially in a dead carnival season.
Fortunately, because of COVID, people were fairly available at the time. The industry was quite quiet at the end of 2020 into 2021. So people were happy for the opportunity to do work, and they were willing to dedicate that time.
My name is Dwayne Norberger. I'm one of the owners of Ultimate Events, and I was a talent wrangler for this project.
I believe Carib called us on the 14th of January, and the show had to air on the 14th of February. Can we make a feature film in a month, or to be part of this opportunity where there's no carnival, where teams are available, people are hungry and ready to do it. And we decided, you know what, let's scale it down a bit and let's just do it.
Talent wrangling, which I was new to the term, but in the film industry, basically is sourcing the talent and dealing with everything from start to finish.
I could tell you we had, I believe it's 198 performers that we would have hired. That's just performers. That doesn't get into all the camera crew, the production team, set designers, costume designers, and everybody else that was involved in the show.
My name is Bridget Wilson, and I am the lead choreographer for Lavway.
Remember, this was the onset of COVID. So we want to do this big production. You want to have all these big plans, but guess what? You can't have this amount of people here. You can't have that amount of people there. You have to have restrictions. You have to have protocols in place.
At times it felt very disconnected. So if you're on Zoom and you have like me at home and people in their homes and everybody scattered about, it can be really frustrating, because it almost never syncs up that you see everybody dancing the same thing at the same time.
Again, it's COVID. How does she instruct a full platoon of dancers? So they actually had to do Zoom classes on the dancing and instructing. So they had to, one person have their computer here, one person have their computer here. Some people were living close together at the time, so those two would be in one room, and then Bridget is home trying to direct and dictate.
You have the challenges of direction. Some people's cameras flip them or flip me or flip whoever, so you think they have the right arm or the right leg or they're going the right way. And then when they come into the studio, you're like, well, what is this? This is not what I created. Like, who is doing this?
Bridget is choreographing to music that is the timing of what the music should be, but she doesn't have final music.
Just hand claps and foot taps, and that is the rhythm that they're working with. When they eventually got some semblance of the music, when we finished it, and it wasn't even finished at that point, they probably had 5 days to prep.
I would say the time restraint caused all of us to be innovative. I am Lou Lyons, member of Freetown Collective, and on Lavway I did music supervision, score composition, song recording, and sound design.
If you creatively look at the entire structure of Lavway, it's built in the tradition of call and response. The narrator calls, the dance responses. The music calls, the dance responses.
From the start, Val had this vision to use the African drums and how we wanted it done. And Lou tuned right in and hit the mark with it.
I wanted the sound of the tambo bambo and the drums and any little thing that they was beating in the back, it could be anything at all, for it to be interpreted and presented in a way that was not what people thought about it.
Given unlimited resources, we would have had musicians there. It would have felt like, the early glory days of Calypso and Kaiso, where jazz quartets, would come together and play music. But the time wouldn't have allowed for that to happen.
Nothing sweeter than hearing the sound of all I am. Oh, babe.
Every musician's take basically the same drums with some slight variations was magical to me. So while we would have had a picture in our imagination that we wanted to recreate, sharing that and collaborating on that opened up the process to magic that we could not have imagined. And that was good.
And they laugh in utter amusement.
Well, I've performed Too Young to Soca before, but you know, with the normal track and stuff like that. But this was the first time I'm actually performing Too Young to Soca in a different way, with just drums and some percussion and stuff. And it was new. It was something that I was now getting familiar with.
They say I should concentrate on winning the junior crown, because I have got to wait a few more years to break down.
In terms of their styling and everything, I wanted to represent or to show, you know, Calypso from the inspiration Calypso days, that old Hollywood kind of, almost American kind of influence into that we hear when we listen to Kitchener and Sparrow and them from back in the day.
I ended up wearing a gold outfit. It was a gold outfit. I think it had a bow tie as well.
They say I'm a little boy, I'm too young to sing about people spreading joy, fete and party and sing.
This was just much of a new experience to me, seeing me actually walking onto a film set and seeing all these cameras around and back, front, on top, everywhere. And it wasn't something that I felt nervous about. I was just, again, thankful to be there, thankful to experience something like that, to cross that off my bucket list.
My name is Muhammad Muwakil, and I was co-writer of the Lavway script with Valmiki Maharaj, and co-conspirator of all things in general. Or look at him. Yeah. Right. See, I was looking at the camera, I was looking at him. Yeah. My name is...
Look here. This thing rare, you know. In a soup. Corners, hold it on. Carrot, pumpkin.
I felt it needed to be narrated, because sometimes you need to be told a story, not interpret a story.
Without the pot itself, the heat, the cook, none of them may have a chance to be the best they could be.
Savannah, to me, was always very much like Little Nancy, like that character that has manifested throughout time in every single culture. That is almost a trickster, that's your little brother, that is somebody who knows everything that's going on, but somehow or the other has influence, but doesn't directly make himself present as having influence.
I could be sucking a sweetie and she passed by and right out my mouth.
When Val first came to you with a concept, and I assumed something rough on paper, was myself in very early stages, what did you think of it?
I feel like those of us who have the opportunity to push the culture forward, like who exist kind of on the edges of the culture, supposed to do that. So when he came with the idea the first time, I was like, yeah, this is something that we're supposed to do.
Me? I just a old fool who like coconut water. A little something for the weather, you know? Come to gather together like you do every year. Come closer. I have a story for you to hear.
First of all, when they asked to cast the character, I said Nikolai immediately because I couldn't think of anybody else that I would see in that role.
And Nikolai, you know, a lot of the times when Nikolai came on set, I actually picked him up on the way. And Nikolai is just in his zone and in his bubble, and he's practicing his lines, and he's in character, and he's like, you know, I'm not ignoring you, I'm in my mood right now.
Now, every once in a while, a human will wake up the giant in them. Say, Bugsy or Beryl or Mavis or Minshell.
Savannah's been around for a long time. I don't know where he came from. I may or may not have taken 2 drinks before I got on a plane at some point in time. And I came up with this idea.
I rise above mountains. I am a giant.
My name is Sine Reese. I am 8 years old. What I basically did is, I think I was supposed to realize about the Moku Jumbies and the Peregrinade, and realize they're not scary, they're just characters.
Well, the first thing is that Sine is a fearless little girl. From the start, when she stepped on set, she was full of sass. She was talking to everybody. She wasn't shy. She loved the costume. She was into it, and she was in character from the start and ready to go.
I believe they told me to be strong, to be brave, to look fierce, all those different things.
The little girl represented 2 things. I think one, the innocence that I really do believe is at the center of Carnival. She represented, like many other points throughout the film, the silence amidst the storm. And most importantly to me, she represented the future.
The funny thing about words is they mean something when they exist outside of you, right? And then when you collect them and put them in a certain order and you put them down and read them back to yourself, they mean another thing. And then hearing somebody else say it is a whole other revelation.
So raise your glass to the living vibrations. We should indeed be honored that giants still choose to live among us.
Let me just say, Muhammad Mawakil and Valmiki are 2 madmen. And given the chance, they will give you the best fantasy that they want to create, and it's up to you to figure it out.
We chose Center Excellence because the crazy ideas in Val's head, nowhere else would have held that, you know. We needed a space big enough to hold his dreams, right? They were big dreams.
When you go through what we have been through over the past 2 years, and especially at that discovery phase at the beginning, like I was talking about, it's like nothing you've ever been through in your life before, you know? And how do I communicate with a masquerader base and a patron base and family and friends who for all our lives we have been inviting you to our carnival? And this is the first time that I taken it, I chuck it in your little phone, I hand it to you there and say, hey, watch that and feel something.
I would say it was a baptism by fire. We had no idea what we were getting into. We had an idea of doing productions. We do a lot of things covering live shows and different stuff, but we've never done something that requires this amount of pre-production.
With that scale of the project, with the short timeline, and with COVID, I just wanted to cook. I just wanted to be the caterer. Let me be the one person giving everybody food, and that's it.
Beginning was a bass pan, rumbling low and slow.